Hello, welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're going to tango with doodling. And this is one of the craziest things that's come out over the last few years, is there was a thing called Zentangle, and basically it spurred a bunch of art, creative, coloring books for adults, all this kind of stuff. So what I did is I have been putting that kind of thing into my quilts when I'm quilting them. So I'll tell you how I did this. What I've done is I've divided my quilt with masking tape. This peels off, doesn't leave a residue. It's just, plain masking tape. And I've divided it from the focal point of this quilt, right? So from the corner of the focal point is the corner of the quilt. So it gives us unusual shapes to quilt in, and we're just going to quilt right over the blocks as if the blocks aren't there. And actually, some people say it's actually easier to quilt from behind because then you're not worrying about what's going on. But my background's K facet, it's pretty loud. So we're going to try and do this from the front. Now, one of the other things, the lines, you don't quilt. You just leave them, right? So when you're done, you pull off your tape, and if you do happen to sew over your tape, it doesn't leave marks. So you can just pull it apart, right? So what was the other thing I was going to tell you? I have already cheated. What I've done is I have done the design line. So I've done on the quilt. This is a twin size quilt. I've already done the vertical lines, right? The blocks going up and down, and the rows, the horizontal lines, and all the way around the quilt. So I can now take all the pins out and I can do whatever, because the only thing that's loose is a 12-inch square. Okay? So now what we've got is I went to the dollar store. Yes, I went to the dollar store and I picked up an adult coloring book, and this one is called Zentangle Color, and I paid $1. So it was on part of their clearance bin. So you can go anywhere to, if you get like books like this, it's easy. They're full of inspiration. And we'll get a little closer here and we'll explain it all to you. But come on over, I'm anxious to get started. Okay, this is what I mean about this Zentangle, and you can look any of this Zentangle stuff online. It's there's lots of people doing this kind of thing, but it translates to quilting quite easily because Zentangle takes one line and makes a whole series of different designs. So you can see in this book, there's quite a few different little squiggles and wiggles that you can work on. What we're going to pick for today is something simple that you can work on, like look at this with the hearts, isn't that cool? They've got like 2 lines on either sides, and then they just put that pattern in. And that is such a cool way of doing things. They've got all the loops and swirls. It's going to be fun. Oh look, pebbles. I hate pebbles, but I mean, some people like pebbles, but I'm not a fan. Now, there was a couple of these that I thought were just really, really interesting. Here's one that you could take and break this down even further and just do lines at all different angles, right? And that would be, that would be quilting. You could actually do this with your walking foot. So now this is another one where they've got all these little swirls. They've got heavier lines around the areas, and they've quilted some, like different shapes or whatever. And then this is the other one I thought was very inspirational, is right here, where they've got this graceful line, these graceful curves, and then they've got very angular pieces inside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify this right down, because this is a new technique for you, but you could actually make something look really gorgeous. So let's get to stitching on the quilt. Okay, the first thing we need to do is bring up that bobbin thread, because I'm at where I want to start my pattern. We get that up. Get that up and out of the way, and I'll just take a few stitches back and forth to secure it in place. This thing is sticking. Oh, I don't know why, but anyways. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a curvy line, and then travel down the edge of the masking tape, and then make a curvy line back up. Right? So, and then we'll fill it in with whatever design we feel is appropriate. Let's go down. Gentle curve. So now we're at the other side of the masking tape, and we can get rid of that tail right now so it doesn't get in our way. And now we're going to, with just our ruler foot, we're going to travel a little bit over, like a 1/4 of an inch over, down along the edge of that, and we're gonna mimic that line. Now we can mimic it a 3rd time if we want, but let's go a little further down. Okay. So now we're going to go the other way. And stop right on the masking tape. And my ruler foot has caught a little bit of the masking tape, so we got to like straighten it down. Press it down, just lift it up. There we go. And make one more stitch. And now we travel down just a bit. And we mimic that line. And we take our time with this. Okay. Area here where I skipped stitches. Okay, now we have to decide what we want to put in this space, because we've defined a very small space. And that space fits in our power triangle, because this area right here in between my fingertips, that's our power triangle. That we have the most control over, and we can do the best stitching in that area. Now this design is fitting almost in that area. So let's decide what we're going to do. We can do something simple like straight lines. And we won't need a ruler or anything if we just keep those lines straight-ish. Then we travel up the spine of that, and we go back the other way until we hit the masking tape. And we travel along the masking tape. And I'm just going to keep going here. Now, we're going to head down. Okay. There we go. And you just touch from one edge to the other, then you travel along that stitch line, that stitch curve you put in. There we go. Nice, simple line, simple stitching, nothing complex. Now, they can all be the same if you want. If you feel comfortable with this, you can put all the same in, or you can change it up. Now what, you're going to think about what you want to change this up to. And we have reached the end. So now we've got to figure out, okay, what do we want to put in the next space? But let's create the next space first, right? By drawing a couple of curves, by following the masking tape just down a bit and then coming back to the other side. We're just going to do 2 of them, and then we're going to decide what we're going to put in here. Okay. Okay, so what have we decided we're going to do? I guess we're going to do, we could do like gingerbread roof, like a gingerbread roof pattern, where you go out and down, like you make little curves. And when you run out of room, you go back up to the top of the curve. And you make little clamshells. And you travel along, and you just continue your little gingerbread roof. And there we go. And you see how it's coming together. Kind of looks like fish scales, I guess, because it's in an odd shape. And I probably should have a rubber glove on. And you just touch the top of the clamshell. Now they don't even have to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to finish this design and then we'll get a big close-up, okay? Okay, I finished this little swath. So we started out with the straight lines, the up and down lines, and then we went to clamshells. And I like changing the angle of the lines. And then I went, wishbones are perfect to fit into an odd shaped space. I'm wondering if you can see. Yes, okay, you can kind of see the wishbones here next. And then other straight lines. Then I did little swirls. I did a small meandering. See, my meandering now is within a confined space, so I can do my little swirls, right? More lines. I like just breaking it up. And I've got ocean waves, so the ocean waves go this way, and then they go back the other way. And then lines, and then let's see, just get this all flat. I did some L's and E's, and L's and E's, and they turn around and they create, they're lovely for odd spaces, like odd shaped spaces. And I don't know if you'll be able to read this, but I went sleep well, and with a few little asterisk signs here behind. You can hide messages in this. This is just wonderful for that kind of thing. And then I did lines again, and then I did a little leaf here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that leaf. There we go. That's a leaf. Okay. So now we're going to just flip this over to show you what we've got. So we have got, I'm hoping you can see all the texture here now that we're building up texture, because the quilting is now becoming very dense. But it's not shrinking the quilt unevenly, because I've already done my horizontal and diagonal lines to stabilize each block. So as we're going up, you can see that we've got more and more texture as we go. And the quilting is done with yellow on the top and yellow variegated on the top. There's my swirls. There's my swirls right in there. And my wishbones right here. So, let's see. I've got a funny, I don't know if you can be able to see it on there. There's my little clamshells, or the gingerbread house roof tiles or whatever. And that's what we started out with. I got a little bit of ruching that might, oh yeah, that'll come out. That'll come out. It's fine. Just a little bit. So, that's where we're at. Okay, so here we are, the Tango with Doodling. So this is a really fun way of doing this, and it's great to practice new designs in a very small confined area. You set your confined area. It works. Now what we're going to do is, we've already done the color or the quilt by shape, so we could, the next one could be quilt by color, or it could be whatever. I think we have a lot of ideas that we're going to cover on this quilt and make each area a different quilting method. So come back next time and we'll have a lot of fun with this. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in a sew along at the exit quilt that's behind me, please comment below in the comments area. We would certainly love to see you here. And it's a beginner quilt. It talks about basic shapes, and that's what I've called the quilt. And it's going to be a lot of fun sew along. Now that sew along should start on YouTube the beginning of December 2021. So if you're watching this 10 years from now, don't worry about it. It's a free pattern. It'll stay either here on the website or here on YouTube. Now, the other thing, I use masking tape. So if you don't have masking tape, you can also use painter's tape. I would suggest if you're going to do this, you get a thinner masking tape or painter's tape, this green. But then I was sitting there thinking about it. If you had big wide strips of this tape, you could, once you peel it off, then you just go up and down and do lines, and then, you know, a line, and then you do some like little swirly curly pebbles thing in this area that's not being quilted on. So come on back next week. We have more. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Hello everyone. Just a quick reminder. This is the quilt we're going to start doing our sew along in the beginning of December 2021. This is a beautiful hand-pieced, hand-quilted. This is a beginner quilt for hand quilting. This is also an intermediate if you're using a sewing machine. And we're going to start this one at the beginning of December 2021. So if you're watching this 8 years from now, don't worry, it's a free pattern. It'll always remain a free pattern. We had a lot of fun doing this with our students, and we had a very enjoyable time. So if you like the videos and you like this challenge and you'd like to start a quilt along, comment below, but like, share, and subscribe with your friends. We are so happy that you're back with us if you're a subscriber. But if you're a new subscriber, please join. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, you have a great day. Bye.